Hello and welcome to another episode on the Patnator channel. I know you're probably thinking, hey, this isn't a weekend film, and hey, this isn't uploaded on a Monday. This is the first of hopefully many tier lists that I plan to do with the lovely Janet. I'm Daniel, of course, you already know that. I'm here with Janet. Say hello, Janet.
Hi.
Yeah, so last week, I want to say, we both decided to watch every single Alien movie, or at least every single mainline Alien movie, in preparation for Romulus. We knew that we didn't need to see all of them to really appreciate Romulus, but we just wanted to be as, I wanted to be, and then Janet kind of tagged along, to be as prepared and ready for Alien Romulus as possible. Yeah, so, if you couldn't tell, this is unscripted, guys. We're just going to be spinning a wheel with every Alien movie on it to decide what movie we talk about and how we rank it. This is a tier list, if I haven't already said that. This is how the tier list is going to go, from S to F, and haven't watched, which is just the Alien vs. Predator movies, because we haven't watched them and we didn't really bother, and frankly, they don't look good enough to really bother watching. I'm sure they'd both end up in D or C. Anyway, with all that preambling out of the way, Janet, would you please spin the first wheel of the video?
Yes, I will.
It's just like Wheel of Fortune, guys. My awesome sister is spinning the wheel, but you're not my sister. You're not my sister. You're my girlfriend.
All
right, yeah, let's hear
it. Guys, our first movie is Alien Romulus.
Wow, what are the odds? What a movie to start on. So,
yeah.
Before we, let's rank it right now for both of us.
Sure.
I am going to put it in the
I think
F
we should
tier.
say this at...
Sorry.
I was gonna say, let's say it at the same time, because
we'll go over to Janet. What do you think, Janet?
I mean, it's an F tier.
And it's in the F tier. So, I guess because we both have a pretty similar opinion on this movie, we'll talk about it at the same time. So, what were you expecting going into Romulus, Janet?
Well, from the things I heard, getting closer to the release of the movie, I wasn't too excited. And then you saw it before me, which made me even less excited. But I still went and saw it. It was better than I was expecting for the most part. But those last 20-30 minutes just kind of ruined it all.
Yeah, so very close to Alien Romulus's release, I remember seeing a lot of activity on Twitter about it, mainly about how people or critics were describing it as a lifeless, reanimated husk of Ridley Scott's style. How a lot of it just feels unoriginal and almost lazy. And I was thinking, it might be okay as long as it's very personality based. I haven't seen another Fede Alvarez film. I don't know what his style is really like, but I was expecting at least an okay film. And I'll go into what I don't like about the movie for both of us, I guess. But this is one of the most atrocious movies I've ever watched.
Okay,
and I know
wait. I do have to say, I've seen two of this guy's movies. One of them was like a bad good, and the other
what
one,
movies?
Evil Dead.
The remake Evil Dead.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah. Wait, no, actually, I'm thinking of Evil Dead Rise. Completely different movie. But I have seen Don't Breathe.
Good.
This is the first
How is Don't Breathe?
First horror movie I ever watched. I finally convinced my parents to let me watch them, and this was it. I can't give a full opinion now. I was like 12, 10. I don't know.
Was it really scary?
No. It didn't like freak me out how I was hoping. But it was like gross. There was some gross scenes in there, from what I remember.
Being a 12-year-old, you still enjoyed it.
You could say that, sure. I think I was more
I think
excited that it was my first horror movie rather than how good the movie was actually.
I get it. Yeah, so I think that actually summarizes Fede Alvarez's whole thing with Alien Romulus really well. This is a good movie if you are a 12-year-old. Alien Romulus lacks any and all of the heart that all of the other Alien movies have, especially the Ridley Scott Alien movies. Ridley Scott in the original Alien movie, perhaps one of the most impactful sci-fi films ever. There's so much creativity, and a lot of that is H.R. Geiger, granted. But there's so much personality in that movie, and so much visual flair, and so many unique little things to Ridley Scott. You know, the iconic chest burster and the iconic xenomorph design, and being having a strong female protagonist. It was a lot of groundbreaking stuff for that movie, and not that every single movie after that follows a trend, but it set a precedent for Alien, like the franchise, the series, where every movie would feel unique in its own way. And I
Mhm.
actually think that's one of the best things about this series. Um
Absolutely.
yeah, Alien Romulus feels like a very or well, let me go back a little. Every Alien movie, even the worst ones, like except for this one, um they all they all have their own little like unique flair. Like well, I don't want to give anything away, but the director always brings something new to the table, and even if it
Yeah.
doesn't work out really well, it's still appreciable. Um the problem with Alien Romulus, do you want to say anything about this, Janet? What was your
It's
main
so
problem?
I mean, the new, like, weird alien thing that she gives birth to,
Spoilers?
I
Can we
guess.
Yeah, spoilers for Alien Romulus from here. We're gonna be talking about pretty important story details. But yeah, go ahead about this thing.
I don't even know what it is. It just, like it's not an alien to me. It's just, like, a human that looks really
Okay,
weird.
so did you realize that thing was supposed to be the same thing that um
Mhm.
Ridley
Prometheus.
gives birth to and no Ridley gives birth to and that Ridley gives birth to in Resurrection?
No, I didn't catch that.
That was supposed to pretty much be the same thing,
Oh,
sort of different. Well, it was the same concept.
okay.
Human give birth to monster.
Okay.
Right? So that actually brings me to one of my biggest flaws of the movie is that Alien Romulus. So in my mind, Fede Alvarez was so afraid of taking a risk or doing something unique with the Alien franchise and potentially failing,
Mhm.
like David Fincher did and how whatever that French guy who directed Resurrection did.
Yeah.
Um, Instead of failing like they did, Fede Alvarez got so scared that he took every single thing that he liked from every other movie and just smashed it into this movie.
Mhm.
And as a result, the movie feels really lifeless and it feels like a lore brain movie. This is a movie for the Alien fans who like seeing things from the lore.
Mhm.
There are a lot of different little things like yeah, what's up, Janet?
I was gonna go off what you were saying. Um, sorry to, like, change the
No,
subject
no, no,
completely.
absolutely. Absolutely.
I didn't like, um, the bits where they're on that planet. I'm a big fan of, like, the space atmosphere in alien movies,
Mhm.
and
Absolutely.
the first 30 minutes of Alien Romulus was on some planet, and it just didn't feel right to me. I didn't enjoy it.
Mhm. I understand because it really detaches you from the whole like you're alone in the universe kind of thing.
Yeah,
That was a
exactly.
that was a big selling point of like all the Alien movies or at least the original Alien is that you're like one of 8 people on the ship and you're being hunted down by an intelligent, ultra powerful human demolishing machine.
Mhm.
And I'm glad they don't spend any real time on there, and they don't really do anything dangerous on there. I think it works okay as a set building, as like a look how horrible this planet is. We need to get off ASAP. I think it
Mhm.
works as that,
Yeah, I just didn't enjoy it very much.
and I think the style of that, it feels really reminiscent of Denis Villeneuve, especially in like Blade Runner 2049. It felt really evocative of that like future humanity, like hopeless coal miner like future. It felt really like everything feels stolen in this movie. It doesn't
Mhm.
feel like Fede Alvarez came up with any of this stuff. And I mean, do you want to talk about the worst part of the movie now?
What do you think the worst part of the movie was?
The dead person.
I don't know much about this. I've seen people talking about it, but I
Okay,
can
okay,
obviously
so
see who it is because it looks so bad, but
mhm.
I don't know anything
So,
about him.
Ian Holm played, I'm trying to remember his name from the first movie. He played the chief science
Ash.
officer on the Nostromo in the first movie.
Hmm.
The scientist with the cum blood, right?
He plays Ash.
Yeah, Ash. There you go. That's his name. And he's one of the best parts about that movie because
Hmm.
he introduces another force of villainy, which is like almost like basically capitalism. Um, his purely profit incentive for his like company interests incentive really gives you something humanoid to hate on, and watching him come to his demise and his robotic sense of apology and all that is really cool, and
Hmm.
he's definitely one of the best parts of Alien. So in a move of what I can only describe as pure idiocy, Fede Alvarez deepfakes and AI voices Ian Holmes's appearance and voice into Alien Romulus on a new android named Rook.
Hmm.
So the main defense I'm seeing about this is that, like, timeline wise, it would make sense because they're both chief science officers and they would both go off the same like human blueprint,
The
right?
main like defense for this is I'm seeing that people or that his family was okay with them being
Yeah, they allowed it.
yeah, they allowed him to be deep faked.
Hmm. So it's good that Fede Alvarez obviously got permission to do this, right?
Hmm.
It'd be horrible. It'd be even worse to do it without permission. But I think it's so like pointless. It almost feels like an extended cameo.
Yeah.
Like, cause sure, again, one of the main defenses I'm seeing is that it's a lore thing. Like, oh yeah, this is the chief science officer like model, so obviously it would be the same guy. Sure, but it seems like a really crappy excuse to deepfake a passed away incredibly talented actor for
Hmm.
the sake of, well, like, Reddit good boy points. It's so you can point and go like, wow, Faye Alvarez was really aware of what he was doing with this film, and
And
I
even
really
like
appreciate it.
as someone who just watched it normally, I didn't catch that until we just started talking about that he was the same guy as Ash.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where if you haven't watched the original Alien in a while, you probably won't notice it. But we just marathoned it basically,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
it was like blaringly obvious to me. It was like it looked so fake. It never looked
Yeah.
like quite right. It always looks
Mhm.
like his face is superimposed on someone else. And having him play the villain again, it just feels so like lazy. It feels like Fede
Yeah.
Alvarez, he could have hired anyone to do that. Literally anyone would say yes to being an evil android in an Alien
Mhm.
movie. But he has to deepfake the deceased actor for lore reasons. I just think it's a lazy, kind of shitty excuse, and it leaves me, at least, with a very bad taste in my mouth. It made me feel like Fede didn't really respect the 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 genre and the movie itself.
Mhm. I feel like I have nothing to say about this movie, it's so hard to talk about, 'cause I was just like I feel like I didn't nothing happened for me in this movie, so I have
That's true.
nothing to mention. I mean, at points, I thought it was too dark in the hallways to see anything, I couldn't see what was happening.
I
I
think it
do
was
really
okay.
like I really like Kaylee Spaney, um,
Yeah,
as
she's really good
Rain.
in this movie. She's really
Mhm.
good in this movie.
That's, like, the highlight of the movie, it's her
And the android
acting.
and the autistic android as well.
I didn't like him,
You
honestly.
didn't like him?
No, he was just kind of annoying, and then
I
he
thought he
turns
brought
evil, and then
uh, I thought he brought something unique and interesting to the movie. Um, but
not for me.
my biggest complaint is probably the hodgepodge to like mash together of different movie aspects in this
Mhm.
one. You can point at almost any scene and directly correlate it to another idea or plot point or concept from another movie. It's like, just to go over a couple things, and it's still spoilers, so be warned. The kid that the Mexican chick gives birth to at the end, the engineer alien hybrid thing, or engineer baby hybrid, whatever you want to call it. That's like Prometheus and Resurrection basically mashed together.
Mhm.
The design is very Alien 1 esque, or the original Alien esque. A lot of click clacky buttons and kind of dated
The
looking tech, but
levers.
yeah, levers
Mhm.
and buttons and cranks and all these little things. The like enormous presence of aliens felt very aliens-esque.
Mhm.
There were like a lot of them. They felt like just like not bullet sponges, but just like cannon fodder. It never felt like an alien was a real threat because
Mhm.
once they get guns, she kills like 100 of them in 10 seconds.
Yeah, it was so easy
The
with the aim
the
assist.
only with the aim assist. The only unique thing about this movie I'd say is the acid sequence. Do you remember that? Where it's in 0 G and all the
Oh
acid
yeah,
is floating. I
that
think
was pretty cool.
that's I think that's kind of the only like interesting scene in the movie.
Mhm.
And next to that and the autistic android who I like and the general visual design, even if it's kind of a little too reminiscent of Denis Villeneuve and Ridley Scott, I think it still looks nice. It's still pretty to look at.
Mhm.
So I mean, I don't know if we want to keep doing ratings for this, but I gave it a 2. I
I
gave it
gave
2
it
out
a
of 10.
3.
Yeah, I mean this movie is not really worth your time. You could get away with I mean, I would watch it just to get your own opinion on it because a lot of people are liking this movie. I know Janet and I are definitely in the minority here on hating the movie. There are definitely people who hate it. I know we're definitely in the minority. Anyway, we spent too much time on Alien Romulus, but that's the one I really wanted to get out of the way because that
Right.
movie is interesting. Anyway, spin that wheel, Janet. Tell me what it lands on. It's just like
Okay,
Wheel of
here we
Fortune,
go.
guys. I hope we get a good one next.
Well, I'm sorry, but this is not a good one.
Okay, let's hear it.
um, well, I'm just gonna say it now. It's the second worst one, Aliens 3 or Alien 3.
Alien 3. So, why don't you like Alien 3, Janet?
Let me go back in my notes. Okay, this movie has my least amount of notes. I just didn't like the way the alien looks. Specifically, that's like the biggest thing for me.
Right, the green
Um,
screened CG alien.
yeah, it looked horrible. I liked the alien POV at first, but then it kind of just made me really nauseous. So I kind of started to hate it.
Yeah, I
Um,
understand.
I don't want to go through everything, but here's one more. I was very uninvested with how they killed the alien at the end. It just felt very boring
Not
and not.
invested.
Yeah, it felt like it wasn't built up at all.
If you haven't seen Alien 3 or you haven't seen it in a while, they dump liquid lead on the alien and then the
Hmm.
water makes him explode from the temperature change. So, Alien 3, directed by David Fincher, which is crazy to say out loud. This movie is actually held pretty highly amongst the Alien sequels. People were we watched different versions of this movie. Janet watched the theatrical cut, and I
Hmm.
watched the assembly cut. And a lot of the very positive reviews of this movie mention the assembly cut and how important it is to the film, and just to the whole like how much better it gets with the assembly cut. And I want to see the best version of the film, obviously, and what the director intended. But Alien 3 is it kind of takes all the things I don't like about Alien and mashes it into a movie. It
Yeah.
has way too many characters.
Hmm.
All the characters feel very similar and kind of meld together in my head because they're all white British bald guys. Um, it's kind of hard to differentiate them, and especially when they're like 20 and one gets killed off, I just don't really care. Really
Hmm.
feels very unimportant in this movie. It feels
Yeah.
like she has the alien birth subplot, and that's kind of it.
Hmm.
Um, the whole like look of the movie, everything is just too dark. I like the depressing. I saw it described somewhere as a descent into hell.
Hmm.
And I think that is an interesting thing to do, especially with an alien movie, because that is how it feels sometimes, or that's how it should feel. But I think the way it's filmed and the way David Fincher approached it, it just doesn't really work for the series.
Um,
And the assembly cut, sorry, just real quick.
you're good.
And the assembly cut also adds like 30 minutes of extra footage,
Hmm.
which is and in my opinion, I didn't notice it because I haven't seen the original cut, and it feels totally unnecessary. The film in the assembly cut anyway is too long. Go ahead, Janet.
I was gonna say on a more positive note, I did
Mm-hmm.
laugh at a couple of scenes at least. One that I do remember is when the two guys, again, the two main characters, to remember their names,
Hmm.
um, they're kind of both running down different halls that meet at the end, and they are backing into each other, and they think they're
And
running into the alien,
yeah, yeah,
and they
yeah.
mistake each other for aliens, and
And they
it,
start
it
like
just kind of made
growling
me
at each
giggle.
other. Yeah,
Yeah, and then
yeah.
they start laughing together.
And they're like, "Oh, you thought I was alien, mate." Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that is. There are moments in this film that make me go, "Oh, maybe it's not so bad."
Mhm.
Um, but there are just so many things, and the movie, it's just long. I know it's a lame thing
Mhm.
to complain about the movie for, but it just feels so long. All I can really appreciate for this film is the Fincher direction style, which
Yeah.
stands out. It feels very Fincher-esque. Like it doesn't Alien doesn't I don't think really fits his style. I don't know if he's really great at sci-fi.
Mhm.
Um, Seeing Wayland show up was kind of cool, I guess.
Yeah, that was.
And
I did like Bishop as well.
who's
Um,
Bishop?
I
I
just wrote
think
down that I
I,
like Bishop.
I think Bishop was the android
He's
from
one of the
Alien 2.
androids.
He is
Yeah.
the android, yeah. Oh yeah, and then Ridley being like a mom to the alien, I
Mhm.
thought was a pretty nifty idea. There are
Mhm.
aspects of this film that I quite actually like, and I think maybe on rewatch I'd enjoy it a bit more. But as it stands now, I just don't think it fits really well with the Alien series. It's based on a
Mhm.
planet, on a prison planet. There are a lot of really bland locations. It's just kind of like brick hallway or dirt floor, brick hallway,
Mhm.
or brick ceiling, brick wall, and dirt hallway. It all just feels like very samey. I really don't have much else to say on Alien 3. What about you, Janet?
I like the end scene where Ripley's falling into the lava. I think it was
Yeah,
lava.
I think the self-sacrifice thing was kind of cool. Yeah.
Yeah, I like gasped when she started to lean back. But overall, it was just an underwhelming film for me.
Yeah, so where would you land this on the tier list?
This one for me is in D.
I think I would also put it in the D tier. I just don't think
I
it's
gave,
it's not up there for me.
yeah, I gave it a 4 out of 10.
4 out of 10. I think I gave it the same thing. Anyway, if you liked Alien Cubed, I'm very sorry. Um, uh, it's definitely not a movie I hate. It's just a movie I don't like. Um, I do appreciate Fincher's style. Anyway,
Mhm.
this is a tier list video. On to the next movie.
Let's spin the wheel.
I hope it's actually a good one this time, guys.
Yeah. Okay, okay. Our next movie is the original Alien.
Oh wow, okay. That's quite the jump. Um,
Yeah.
so really need to preface this, and I know we're being very inconsistent with when we're ranking them, but I am going to confidently put the original Alien in the S tier.
In S tier. Absolutely.
I'm
I
glad
agree.
we both agree.
Mhm.
So what makes Alien an S tier to you, Janet?
Well, I mean, it's just a classic Alien film. It feels like something I haven't watched before. It reminded me how much I love sci-fi.
Mhm.
And I'm so glad I finally watched this.
Yeah, this is one of those movies that people talk about a lot, and especially in Ridley Scott's filmography, which is already really strong, stands out as being an incredible movie, and it absolutely deserves the title. It set up so many tropes and so many important aspects in science fiction, especially science fiction around the time, with the more dated looking technology, but in a very
Mhm.
technologically advanced time setting.
I did
Um,
like the computer, like, typing screens a lot.
yeah. The green text on the black backgrounds.
Mhm.
I thought that was really cool. One of the best things about Alien is the set design. The
Yes.
Nostromo is designed just magnificently. To my knowledge, it's pretty much all practical. It's all like real rooms that the actors were actually walking through.
That makes it even better.
Yeah, it makes it feel like they're really trapped on this tight, kind of cluttered, uncomfortable ship. And again, I know I've said it like twice now, but the design of the Nostromo with the constantly like blasting gas valves and the kind of like humid, wet look of certain rooms and the slated metal and
They're
and
always so
the
sweaty.
yeah and you know what I really appreciate about this film? The air vents. or the air ducts. Do you remember how they close? How instead of it's like a James Bond
Like
it
it
like
spirals into each other
yeah, it
or
spirals
into
into
itself.
itself. Yeah.
Mhm.
I think little things like that and the visual design, I have to say, is not all Ridley Scott, because this is, I think, the only film personally designed by H.R. Geiger, a British artist, I want to say. H.R. Geiger is responsible for pretty much everything that we appreciate, know, and love about Alien. He's responsible for the design of the xenomorph. If I remember, I'll flash up a picture of what Ridley Scott was originally thinking the alien should look like. Spoiler warning: it is hideous, not scary, and a horrible design. He's responsible for the face hugger and the eggs. He's responsible for the design of the what we in the future learn is the engineer ship. He's responsible for the chest burster and that whole like concept. He's H.R. Geiger is responsible for, I'd say, 90% of the iconography around the Alien series, and his presence in this movie is definitely made known to you, even if you don't know who he is. You can just tell, like, even in Ridley Scott's later Alien movies, you could see a distinct like design difference because H.R. Geiger wasn't attached to the project. Anything to say?
No, it was just a great movie. I really liked it.
The cinema. Yeah, go ahead.
My favorite character, I have to say, was the little cat.
Oh yeah, Jones was his name.
Like Jonesy, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, Jonesy, whatever it was. That scene where, what's his name? He's the one of the engineers. He wears he had like the most atrocious fit on ever, but it's also kind of awesome. In the
Was it
Hawaiian
Dallas?
shirt. Yeah, Dallas. There you go. Seeing Dallas, or had that shot where Dallas gets got by the xenomorph and Jones just kind of watches it completely unfazed, is like perhaps one of the best animal actor moments in film history. It's just so funny and fitting to what a cat would do if it saw one of its very close human friends get murdered by an alien. I think it's very accurate. Yeah, I mean, I don't have much else to say about the original Alien. It's just one of those movies you kind of have to watch.
Yeah, absolutely.
And obviously Sigourney Weaver is an outstanding lead actress. She's by a mile one of the best parts of this movie. The way she acts, the way she kind of throws her body around, the way she's just go ahead.
I was gonna say, like at the beginning of this movie, I had no clue anything about Alien. I had no clue who she was. I didn't realize she was the main girl, like the survivor. And I was annoyed by her. I thought she was just an annoying woman. And then I started to love her, obviously.
And then she makes it out.
Yeah, and it's like, oh, I'm so glad she made it out.
Now, I don't know why Ridley Scott is obsessed, and just the movie in general, is obsessed with having her do action scenes in her underwear. But I don't know, it's a cool design, I guess. I don't have anything else to say about Alien. I gave it a 9 out of 10 on my ranking.
And I gave it an 8 out of 10.
Yeah, that is an easy S tier. So,
yes.
Would you mind spinning the wheel for us again, Janet?
I do not mind. Let's spin the wheel.
I hope we get one that I really want to talk about soon.
Oh, that was really close between two movies, but
all right, let's hear it.
The result is Alien Resurrection.
Alien Resurrection. So perhaps our most divisive pick or ranking in this video. I think, again, you know, believe it or not, since we do talk like every day, we have very similar opinions on these movies. But I am going to put Alien Resurrection in the. I think it's pretty worthy of the C tier.
Are you sure we have similar opinions about this?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Can I hear?
I think I enjoyed this movie a lot more than you. I put it in A tier.
You'd put Alien Resurrection in A tier.
It's my second favorite of the Aliens.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I was mistaken.
Very controversial.
Yeah, so Alien Resurrection is by a mile the most safe to hate on film of the series. Alien Resurrection is directed by some French dude who I don't think I don't know any other movies he's done.
I do.
But let's hear it.
Amelie.
Oh yeah. No,
Great
isn't he
movie.
not? Isn't he not the Amelie guy?
No, he's
Then
Amelie.
are you 100% sure?
I'm 1000% sure. On the last video, we were talking about some other movie, and I got them mixed up because I was thinking about Alien so much.
Oh, okay. Okay, that's what I was thinking of.
Mm.
So, Alien Resurrection is only as hated as it is because it is a Joss Whedon vehicle. So if you don't recognize the name, Joss Whedon is the writer of all of the Avengers movies.
Oh.
He is a very prolific writer. He's made $1 bajillion trillion, and he also directed half of the original Justice League. Joss Whedon's stink is all over this movie, and I'd say that's probably my biggest problem with it. The comic writing.
It actually makes sense why I like it because, I mean, you guys can't see, but I'm wearing a Spider-Man shirt right now.
Yeah, Janet is a bit of a Marvel Andy.
Yeah, just a little.
Joss Whedon's stink is all over this movie, and I think perhaps one of the biggest flaws of it is the character writing. And you know, all of the characters are kind of flawed in their own way, in this movie, but especially like Ron Perlman, his like performance and his character is just insufferable. The way he acts and the way he talks and the character that he plays, it feels so like unbefitting of the Alien franchise.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like sickening to watch. And I know that sounds a little dramatic, but like, guys, I hate Joss Whedon's writing style so much. His writing on the characters is really insufferable, but his writing on the story, if he did any, which I'm sure he did, was okay. I mean, I think Resurrection is hated as much as it is because it revived Ridley after her very heroic, awesome sacrifice in
Which
Alien.
is just bad writing to revive a character that very clearly died.
I agree. Having her get revived because she had blood samples that they turned into clones of her, I think that's really lazy, and I think it's really boring. I would have actually really liked if it was a completely separated film from Ridley's character, especially because Winona Ryder's character in this movie is so great. I really like her character in this movie.
Since we're on the topic, spoilers. But when you find out that she's a robot,
I thought it was really neat.
I know, I was so shocked. I actually was like audibly like, and I was so happy with it.
I'm kind of surprised I didn't see it coming.
Yeah, me neither.
For a sec, before it's revealed that she's like bleeding cum, I thought she was
We have to stop saying that.
No, I'm gonna keep saying it.
Your video is gonna get ruined.
I don't care. I honest to God thought that she was a it was just like lazy writing. I was like, oh, she died, but she's back now. What do you think about the characters in general in this movie?
One character, I have no clue what his name is or anything, but the one who is like watching over the alien that's trapped in the
the
glass.
Like, chief scientist.
Sure.
With like the man ponytail.
I don't remember, honestly.
Yeah, he has like a traditional Japanese. Yeah.
The one thing I remember about him is when he's kissing the alien through the glass, and it just
he goes to kiss him.
Yeah. It was just so weird to me.
Yeah, and I think that single moment is cumulative of Joss Whedon's writing style. It is sort of insufferable, guys. I'm gonna be honest. Joss Whedon's like more comedic writing style just does not fit the film at all. The story that's being told, I think for what it is, being a main character revive 4th movie in a row thing is better than I thought. And one of the things that people actually really hate about this movie, the Ridley's baby alien, is I think actually one of my more appreciated parts of the movie.
I didn't know people disliked that. I was gonna bring that up next.
Yeah, people are not huge on that. They think it's like it's played too much as like a joke, which I guess sorta.
Really?
Yeah, because he's like whimpering when he sees Ridley, and he's like trying to hug her and stuff. I
like that she was connecting personally with the alien.
I think it is a little silly, but seeing the alien human hybrid thing go to the queen and like punch her head off.
The queen was so cool.
Is pretty cool, and seeing that like huge like birth belly egg sac thing is like gross and cool. There are some really good things in this movie. A lot like Alien Cubed, there are really good aspects of this movie, but the movie surrounding the aspects are a lot better than in Alien Cubed.
Before we go too far off the newborn alien thing, spoilers, when he's being sucked out of the ship, I started to feel bad. And it was weird because, like, I was on the survivors team. Usually I'm not. I, like, want all the survivors to die. But I was, like, for Alien, I was completely on the survivor side. But this time, when he's, like, being ejected, it was just so upsetting to me for some reason.
He is like whimpering and crying almost. His eyes look huge,
Yeah.
and he's like, "Please, Mom, please."
Yeah.
I mean, everything else about the movie is kind of standard. I think the underwater sequence with the aliens is pretty cool. That's definitely a standout moment in the movie. And seeing all the gross, messed up alien Ripley clones is pretty cool too. Otherwise, I don't really have much else to say about the movie.
I have a few things still.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Pretty early in the movie, I don't remember the context, but there was this one line. I'm pretty sure they're talking about Ripley, and they say, or this guy says, "putting her down," as if she was like a dog, and it just made me giggle. I don't know if anybody remembers that, but it just stuck in my head.
That's a silly little line.
There was, I thought there were some good one-liners in this one.
I think they were all annoying.
Oh, okay. Well,
as Joss Whedon,
because you don't like the writer, yeah.
Joss Whedon, ultra annoying. Yeah, I gave this one a 5 out of 10.
I gave it a 7 out of 10.
Oh my god. Anyway, now that we're done with Resurrection, spin that wheel again.
Since I guess we're done.
Well, do you have anything else to say?
Yeah, I have quite a bit to say still.
Well, spit it out, Janet.
Yeah, you kind of cut me off there, Mr. Daniel.
Yeah, whatever.
Okay. I'm just gonna read these really quick. The alien drooling was disgusting in this movie. I thought this was the best the aliens have looked, other than the original, of course.
Okay.
There was a scene where someone takes off his gloves and throws it at the camera, and the camera shakes. And I thought
that was
really
pretty
cool. Yeah,
that was a cool. I remember that. That was a cool moment. He looks, I'm so angry, and it shakes. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that was really awesome. And then one last thing, the shoes in this movie stand out to me in the costume design for some reason. I think
it's just like military boots, weren't they?
Yeah, but I thought they were really cool.
I guess.
Whatever.
Is anything else?
That's all from me.
Oh, and then
my
one
most
thing
notes from any of these movies.
Wow. One thing I forgot to mention. I watched the theatrical cut of this movie. I did not watch the extended cut because the director was like, I like the theatrical cut more. And from what I hear, the extended cut is just more annoying Joss Whedon writing. So I'm glad I watched the theatrical cut. Anyway, let's spin that wheel. Thanks, Janet. I hope we get a good one this time, guys.
Well,
Alien Resurrection is okay.
Oh, that was a close one. We got Aliens.
Aliens, right. So I am going to, controversially so, potentially, I am, actually, you know what? Let's save the ranking for Aliens.
Yeah. Okay.
Until after we talk about it, because, I watched Aliens on, I think, Thursday, I think.
Yep, Thursday.
Of last week, so I need to kind of talk about it to refresh my memory. So what did you think about Alien, Janet?
Nothing interesting was added. It was like a copy and paste of Aliens, but with a bunch of unneeded stuff. This is how I'm saying my opinion, sir. I thought it was boring. Nothing added. Copy and paste, but worse.
So I think that's completely untrue and just not even close to being accurate. Aliens lacks any of the atmosphere or suspense that Alien has, which is perhaps one of its biggest selling points. Going from Alien to Aliens feels like a very, I guess, natural progression. If you were a human in the Alien movie, that's what your progression would be. It'd be going from let's run away from these aliens to let's kill a bunch of aliens. And I think, again, I just don't think James Cameron is a great fit for this kind of thing. I think his writing style and his whole like his actiony feel doesn't really fit the Alien series incredibly well. Obviously, I think it's cool in the moment anyway, and even kind of looking back on it, to watch a bunch of aliens get shot to death by guns and bang, bang, pow, boom. I think it's kind of cool. I think a lot of the characters in this are kind of insufferable, though, especially that Mexican chick.
Right.
Just like, what an insufferable character. Design-wise, though, I think this movie's really great. Introducing the Xenomorph Queen for the first time and referencing it back to like ants. Just seeing more Xenomorphs is really nice because there was
Yeah,
only one in the
absolutely.
there was only one in the original, and now you're seeing like tens at a time, and they're all practical. I think it
And
looks really great.
you get
Good.
more clear views of how they look.
Yeah, you get them like in open environments, like running all over the place and doing crazy things. I think it's really cool.
Mhm.
Um,
What'd you think
and
of the little girl Newt?
so Newt's greatness is slightly nullified by Alien Cube's not greatness, because I
Sure.
think what Ridley and Newt have is like a very cute mother-daughter thing, especially because
Mhm.
Ripley lost her daughter in her hypersleep thing. But having Newt be effectively worthless because she just dies at the
Mhm.
start of
Spoiler.
Alien. Well, I mean, we already talked about Alien 3, so
Yeah.
I guess we're further spoiling it now.
Mhm.
But yeah, having Newt just die at the end of Alien Cubed or at the start of Alien Cubed just makes her whole character in Aliens feel kind of pointless.
Yeah, that's true.
She's a neat addition, and in a way she almost replaces the cat from the original.
Mhm.
Having a more vulnerable, like easy to love character is important, and Newt's role in this movie is important and is filled pretty well by the young actress. Her acting is pretty good, all
Mhm.
things considered.
Carrie Hen.
Um, yeah, and I forgot to mention it. A lot of the Marines are like kind of insufferable, but
Yes.
the guy who played John Connor is pretty great in that movie, and the main android who I'm forgetting the name of,
Bishop.
Bishop, best android in the series, easy.
Sure.
What do you think?
Um, I don't have a lot of thoughts about this movie. I think it was just like a solid Alien follow-up, but I didn't enjoy it too much.
Hmm.
You know, it's definitely a letdown. I wanted to continue that high of Alien, the original, but it just unfortunately did not for me.
I totally get it. I think it's like a very high octane film, which works well enough, I guess. I am going to put Aliens, sorry. I think I'm gonna put it at the top of C tier. Hey, also, just a quick editor's note. I meant to put Aliens in C tier, above Resurrection. I know I put it in B tier in the video, but I just had to tell you guys because it'll matter in just a minute. Anyway, back to the video. I've been talking too long.
I'm also
Above,
putting it in C tier.
above or below Alien Resurrection?
Well, that's the first one in C for me.
Oh, yeah. What's the first? Wait, what's in C tier for you?
Just Aliens.
Oh, just Aliens. Wow, very, very brave. Yeah, I mean, I don't have much else to say. I rated Aliens a 6 out of 10. I know C
And
is.
I gave it a 5 out of 10.
Yeah, so yeah, you're a real hater, but that's okay.
Hmm.
You know, Janet does not like fun movies. Anyway,
It was not a fun movie, for sure.
would you mind spinning that wheel, Janet, unless you have anything else to say?
Nope, that's it.
Spin
On
that
to the
wheel, Janet. Spin it.
second to last. Let's see. And it looks like Alien Covenant.
Oh, wow, wee. Okay, Alien Covenant. I'm gonna wait to rate this until after we talk.
Yep.
Do you want to as well?
Yeah, I'll wait.
Okay, Alien Covenant is the most recent Ridley Scott movie in the Aliens franchise, or in the Alien franchise, and I think in a way it summarizes the problems with the Alien movies, but also shows its pros pretty well.
Sure.
What did you take away from Alien Covenant most? You got it.
I think the biggest or the coolest part to me was seeing all the different aliens that the android, like, fused together to make new aliens, or, like, the ones he breeded, I guess you could say.
Hmm.
I
I,
liked,
uh,
seeing all of them on, like, the displays.
you are right. Watching him, or not watching him, but learning that he invented the xenomorph through like perfect genetic like manipulation and stuff
Mhm,
is, I think, it's a pretty cool idea. And this movie picks up, I think, really well on Prometheus. I think there's a lot to like about Alien Covenant, but there are so many things that just there. It's death by a thousand cuts. There you go.
mhm,
Like the general idea, and watching the end, or what should be the second of three parts in the Prometheus trilogy.
mhm.
Watching it end with this movie is really nice, and seeing that whole theme of trying to find your maker and your god, and what God really is. I think that's really cool. The heavier focus on androids, and what an android is and how you define an
Yeah,
android and all that, really cool. David as a character is, I think, one of my
mhm.
favorites. One of my favorites in the whole series.
Absolutely.
Honestly,
He's then, like, the new version of David is turned into a name Walter,
yeah,
because there's 2 of them in this one.
American Michael Fassbender and British Michael Fassbender make a really sweet duo.
Mhm.
And watching them do the very homoerotic flute scene, really,
Oh,
really
yeah.
awesome. And watching them fight sucks. They're brothers, like David tries to plead Walter to do.
Well, I'm pretty sure it's Walter trying to plead David.
No, David is like, please don't kill me, brother.
David's the original
Yeah,
android.
David's British. Yeah, I'm
I don't know.
smarter. Anyway, my main flaw, anyway. I said it again. My my main flaw with Covenant is the character writing mainly. The character writing in Alien Covenant feels so like sloppy. It feels so like Ridley Scott just really wanted to be done with it already. A lot of the characters make some straight up moronic decisions in this film. Especially with the inhaling of the poisonous brain exploding fumes and gases and stuff. Having the having the guy inhale it because he was smoking a cigarette, that makes sense. But having the other guy get his nose basically right under it and go, it just feels so lazy, and it doesn't feel like it's set up really well. Having the backbone of Prometheus makes this movie a lot better than it would be on its own.
Mhm.
And I really wish I appreciated this movie as much as other people, because some people are like, this is the best blockbuster in the last 10 years, and it's an underappreciated
Hmm.
masterpiece that will get its recognition in like 10 years. But I just think there are a couple too many writing flaws and things like that to really love. Um,
Yeah.
and finally, before I end my incessant rambling,
Mhm.
I think the CG alien design in this movie absolutely just crushes it. Um,
Yeah, yeah.
the CG xenomorph is like, I think, maybe the best that's ever looked. CG anyway.
Mhm.
I think it looks outstanding.
The
Oh yeah,
neomorph as well, which I barely remember what the neomorph is. I think that's the white one.
the white one, yeah.
That looks really cool.
I think that, yeah, I think he's a great part of it. That scene where David's trying to make the neomorph like tame him, and he's like,
Mhm.
blow on a horse's nose, and he's yours for life. And then the guy
Mhm.
behind him just fucking blasts the neomorph. I think it's kind of cool. I mean, that's all I really have to say for
Uh,
Covenant. Do you have anything else to add? Oh, and sorry, one more thing I almost forgot. The visual design of Covenant rocks. I
oh
love the
yeah.
like I love the rain, not even the rainforest, but just like the huge trees and the constantly like humid, wet environment. Having it be
Mhm.
a colonization mission, only distracted because of circumstances outside of Walter's control. And then because the captain dies, they're like, "Oh well, we'll just go to this one. It'll be fine."
Mhm.
It's a lot of really cool stuff. I really like that stuff.
There were a few
What do you think?
scenes that really stood out to me.
Hmm.
The first one being when they're kind of tied to the ship on a cable and they're shooting at each other.
Oh yeah,
It's a
yeah.
really awesome fight scene. And then the other one, the shower scene. I mean,
Uh,
I won't get into detail about what we both thought was gonna happen there. But I don't think we're the only ones who thought
I think
something
that
interesting would happen.
I think the alien being an almost Nosferatu-esque evil, where it's like pretending to stab people so that the viewer
Mhm,
goes, "Ooh," and then just
mhm.
killing him anyway. I think it's really cool. It's kind of silly
Oh,
and kind
yeah.
of cheesy and corny, but I think it's really cool.
The alien POV, like, the first person from the alien looks much better in this one. Maybe not nauseous like the other one
Like
did.
Alien Cubed.
Yes, they did it much better here.
I mean, I think my main thing about this movie is just the visual aesthetic. I love Ridley
Yeah.
Scott's his like new look with the more traditional like flat buttons and holographic screens. I think it
Mhm.
still looks really good under Ridley Scott's direction. I still like the more clicky clacky buttons, but like in Alien Romulus, you see how it can still be bad even with a good
Mhm.
like foundation because it looks nice, but there's no like heart behind it. There's heart
Yeah.
behind these like holographic screens. I don't have anything else to say. Oh
That's
yeah,
it. It's just
we need to rank
yeah.
them. How could I forget?
Overall, this was just, like, a really cool movie to me.
I agree.
What'd you give it? Where'd you
Um,
put it?
I gave it a 6, which is the
Me too.
same as Aliens, but I'm going to put Alien Covenant in B.
I put it in high B.
This was also my first Alien movie ever. I saw this movie
Really?
in theaters with my older brother when it came out.
Mhm.
I was I think like 10 or 11 at the time. I just remember being so scared that I had my hands over my mouth and was whispering to myself, "Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god." And my
And
brother
your
like elbowed
brother
me. He was like, "Shut up." God.
Yeah.
Like I'd be pretty mad too. Anyway, I don't have anything else to say about Covenant. I just
No?
it's a very familiar movie and it's hard not to enjoy for me.
Absolutely.
I mean,
Huh, let's spin this wheel one last
yeah,
time.
I wonder what we'll
Uh,
get this time.
yeah, I have no clue, spinning. Oh, this is another close one. Oh, not what I was expecting. Up next is Prometheus.
Man, what do I even say about Prometheus? Do you have anything to say, Janet?
Well, first off, I did watch this previously. I think a while ago, before I actually got into movies, I wanted to watch the Alien series. Um, and for some reason, I decided to start with the prequels so I could watch in like chronological order. And I do
Yeah.
remember quite a bit from this movie, but it's great. It starts out beautiful, the stunning wide views of nature. It just looks so good.
Yeah, one of the best things about Prometheus is how like enormous it is.
Mhm.
They really don't they really don't hold back, or Ridley Scott really doesn't hold back with how like gigantic everything feels. Seeing and there's a lot of new lore introduced in this movie, and I know I
Mhm.
criticized Romulus for being like lore brain, but if you took this movie out of the alien context, this would still be a totally normal explainable movie other than
Absolutely.
the Wayland Yutani character. I
Mhm.
think it would stand as dare I say an excellent sci-fi movie.
Mhm.
Um the characters feel really well written even though the cast is
Mhm.
pretty big.
I love Michael
Um
Fassbender.
yeah, Michael Fassbender in this movie is just like brilliant. David's whole character and the way he acts and how nefarious he is just awesome.
How he shuts
I
off the camera so she can't watch what he's doing anymore.
Yeah, yeah,
Really
yeah.
cool.
A lot of it feels like a really effortlessly enjoyable cast, and maybe I know a lot of it is the actors like Idris Elba, Michael
Mhm.
Fassbender. A lot of these characters are very popular and or actors are very popular and easy to like because of it.
Mhm.
But even the characters like I don't remember the leading protagonist's name.
Her name
Um,
is Elizabeth.
yeah, Elizabeth, whatever the actress's name is.
Numi
Um,
Rapis.
yeah, there you go.
Rapace? Something
She
like
is
that.
outstanding in this movie. I don't
Mhm.
think I've ever seen her in anything else, but
Me
she was
neither.
just like jaw dropping in this movie. I want to edit this in. I am going to edit this in. The scene where she gives herself a
Oh!
C-section
Uh-huh.
from from the alien that's about to like explode her body. is just so cool. It's so
Oh,
intense.
absolutely.
It's so intense. It's so disgusting.
Oh, it looks
It's just,
horrible. It's so like gruesome.
yeah, it's so it looks like you just know how bad it would feel even with all
Mhm.
the painkillers and stuff. And watching her staple her belly back up is just like
Oh.
sick.
Mhm.
It's just like disgusting. And then through that, she still has to run away from the engineer, not get killed by the big starfish or squid monster thing.
Mhm.
Um, they're just it's just such an energetic movie. And seeing more about these engineers, which you only learn about in this film, is just so interesting. The whole concept of the engineers and finding your god, and the whole like mythological standpoint behind it,
Mhm.
and seeing Wayland ask for eternal life from an engineer just to be killed by him for no reason, is just it's just effortlessly like impactful and like awesome to watch. I mean, I just love the movie. I think I really wanted I wanted to go in liking it, or I
Mhm.
went in wanting to like it, and I came out just adoring it. I think
Mhm.
it's one of Ridley Scott's best.
Since it's a prequel, and I
Hmm.
learned that like right before watching, I didn't expect to see the alien aspects in it, but it's there. It's definitely like if you've seen the other aliens, you can tell this is an alien movie, not just by the xenomorph first appearing at the very end of the movie,
Hmm.
but the text being on screen, where it's like the computer screen. Again, how
Yeah.
I love that in the original Alien, and
Hmm.
the robot bleeding. I wasn't expecting that. Um, and then the ship that's shaped just like the one they find in the original Alien.
Oh, yeah, the
It
the the engineer ship.
yeah. I don't know. I wasn't expecting it to remind me of Alien so much, and I'm glad it did.
Yeah, and it was nice to see that H.R. Geiger imagery with the alien ship as well.
Mhm.
It felt very familiar, but it felt new.
Mhm.
It
Yeah.
felt very it felt like an updated version of Alien, and I think that's
Absolutely.
what Ridley Scott was trying to do, and it works magnificently. If you guys can't tell, I really like this movie.
Mhm.
I mean, the score as well. I completely
Yeah.
forgot to mention the score is just brilliant in this movie. It's so nice on the ears. You have no idea how nice it is on the ears. Yeah, I
I did
think.
think it was silly. It was a prequel, so it was back in time, but they
Mhm.
still had the, like, head, um, helmets that had cameras in them, but in the original Alien, that would've saved a lot with having like, Ridley having to prove that there was an alien there.
Well, you have to remember they're on a mining vessel, so why would you need that? But the in
That's
Prometheus, they're
true.
on an exploratory mission.
That is true. I didn't see it that way.
Yeah, you're just
Um,
not as clever as me.
okay, okay. I think we all know it's the other way around. But
Yeah, whatever.
another thing, I found it really amusing, and I loved how at the end, um, those 3 guys are willing to take the risk and crash that ship
Oh,
into
Idris
the
Elba and his crew. Yeah.
yeah, they're willing to crash it and die just to save their home planet.
Into the engineer ship.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. It felt very like they were literally saving the world.
Mhm.
Um, oh man, just thinking about it gets me excited.
Your smile can say
um,
it all.
yeah, I mean, if you guys could see me right now, I'm grinning up a storm. Yeah, I think this is. I mean, I'm gonna rank it right now. This is easily an A tier. Um, the original Alien is, I mean, the original Alien, but if it didn't exist, this would easily be my favorite of the series. There's still some little things that I think are kind of lame or that don't
Yeah,
work.
definitely.
Some of the characters don't feel developed, and there are still some pretty stupid character decisions.
And some of it's
But
predictable.
and some of it is definitely predictable. And it does kind of meander for a little too long. I
Mhm.
wish it was a little quicker about it. But otherwise, I mean, it's an experience, and
Oh, yeah.
it's a brilliant sci-fi film. It's up there for me anyway. I mean, I don't have anything else to say. I put it in
Oh,
A.
well,
Where do you put it?
I put this in B above, um, Covenant.
Above Covenant. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah, I think that. Sure.
my 3rd favorite.
Yeah.
And I ranked it, 7 out of 10.
7 out of 10. You were saying something?
Was I?
I think you were trying to.
I don't remember what I was gonna say.
Well, I'm sure it was very important. Well, I'd ask you to spin the wheel again, but I think we're out.
We're done. Yep. That's the last one.
I know this video is probably a lot longer than I wanted it to be, but I mean, if we're doing meaningful conversation, then I guess it's okay. Thank you guys for tuning in to this video. I know it's different from what I normally do. I wanted to cut it up and make it a bit more like refined sounding, but if I just don't edit the audio at all and just do a completely uncut thing, then sorry. I would have loved to do a bit more editing, but I want to really get this out by Friday. I'm recording this on Wednesday night. Or we're recording this on Wednesday night. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, this video, just setting everything up for it was a struggle. And watching 7 movies for one video, also a struggle. But hey, we made it through alive, and I mean, I'm happy that you guys, if anyone's watching this far, are willing to hear our thoughts and feelings about the alien. How many is 7 in the words?
7.
No. Like 6 is sex. How many is 7? Like sextuple. How many is 7?
I have no clue.
I'm gonna say cent. I don't think it's cent. This
Maybe like sept.
This septology of films. Yeah, if you're still here, I appreciate it and I love you. You viewers are the people that make me want to keep doing these things. Thank you for the wonderful response on the Terminator video, or the last weekend film. I'm glad you guys are tuning in.
I'm
positive
glad as
light.
well.
Yeah. I mean, if you guys can't tell, I'm just really happy with how the channel's doing right now. Yeah, I don't have anything else to say. Do you have anything you want to close off with, Janet?
No, these were some good movies. There's some bad ones in here, but I think this franchise overall is just great, and everybody should go watch these movies.
I agree with that. Before I go, I have to ask you guys to subscribe, obviously.
Please!
Leave a like, leave a comment, share the video, do literally anything to get the word out there. It would mean the world to me. It would mean the world to Janet. It'd mean the world to Franklin. It'd mean the world to Steph. It'd mean the world
to
Dale. To Dale. It'd mean the world. It'd mean the world to every single guest host we've had on this channel.
And we can't forget about Benny over here. He's laying in the background.
And Benny laying in the background, of course. Yeah. I mean, it would mean the world, and I know I'm rambling, but this whole thing is rambling. I don't have anything else to say. So, I hope you all have a wonderful day. And I will see you
in
the theaters.
Please subscribe to these.
Please. Bye.
Bye.